For decades, we've been told that 3 square meals a day is the gold standard for healthy eating. But is this traditional structure really necessary for losing fat? Does eating breakfast, lunch, and dinner impact our metabolism? Or is it just a cultural norm? Scientific studies suggest that meal frequency may not be as critical for fat loss as once believed. What truly matters is your overall caloric balance and food choices. In this video, we'll explore why the 3-meal-a-day model might not be essential for your weight loss journey and how flexible eating patterns can be equally effective. Make sure to stay until the end to find out all the best information, and remember, at Beyond Living, we provide the best information and actionable and functional guides for all facets of healthy living, vitality, and fitness. Also, check out the awesome products that are running exclusive limited time deals just for our viewers here at Beyond Living, in the description and in the top pinned comments that we recommend for all our viewers for vitality, healthy living, and fitness. Like, comment, and subscribe as it greatly helps the channel. The concept of eating 3 meals a day is deeply rooted in our cultural history. It became the norm in Western societies during the Industrial Revolution, when factory work and school schedules required structured meal times. Before this, eating patterns were more flexible, with people eating when they were hungry or when food was available. This shift to a rigid 3-meal schedule was largely driven by societal changes, not by scientific evidence. In fact, many cultures around the world have different meal patterns, with some eating just 2 meals a day or even one large meal. These variations suggest that there's no one-size-fits-all approach to meal frequency. Studies have shown that metabolic rate doesn't necessarily increase with more frequent meals, debunking the myth that eating small meals throughout the day stokes your metabolism. Instead, what's more important for fat loss is your total caloric intake over time. If you're consuming fewer calories than you expend, you'll lose weight regardless of whether you eat 3 meals or 10. This understanding allows for greater flexibility in meal planning as long as you maintain a caloric deficit. In the next section, we'll dive into the misconception that frequent meals are necessary to boost metabolism and support fat loss. A common misconception about meal frequency is that eating more often can boost metabolism, leading to greater fat loss. The idea is that by eating every few hours, you keep your metabolism constantly active, thereby burning more calories throughout the day. This notion has been popularized in fitness circles, but scientific research tells a different story. Metabolism, or your body's rate of burning calories, is influenced by various factors such as age, sex, muscle mass, and physical activity. While it's true that digestion and food absorption cause a temporary increase in calorie burning, known as the thermic effect of food, TF, the impact is minimal. TF typically accounts for about 10% of your total daily energy expenditure, with the specific effect depending on the type and quantity of food consumed. Whether you eat 1 meal or 6, the total TEF remains relatively consistent when calories are equal. Studies comparing meal frequency and metabolism have found no significant differences in total energy, expenditure, or fat loss outcomes. Whether you eat 3 meals a day or more or less, the critical factor for fat loss is creating a caloric deficit, consuming fewer calories than your body needs for maintenance. This understanding debunks the myth that frequent meals are necessary for metabolism boost or fat loss. It also opens the door to a more flexible approach to eating. You can design your meals based on personal preference, work schedule, and lifestyle without worrying about missing out on metabolic benefits. In the next section, we'll explore how caloric balance is the real key to achieving your fat loss goals, regardless of meal frequency. To achieve fat loss, the most critical factor is caloric balance, which is the difference between the calories you consume and those you burn. This concept of calories in versus calories out is central to any weight loss journey. If you consume fewer calories than your body requires for daily activities and basic functions, you create a caloric deficit, leading to fat loss. Conversely, consuming more calories than you expend results in weight gain. The number of meals you eat each day doesn't directly impact this balance. Whether you eat 2 meals or 6, the total caloric intake is what matters. This gives you the freedom to choose an eating pattern that suits your lifestyle. If you prefer larger meals, you can adjust your caloric intake accordingly. Similarly, if you enjoy smaller, more frequent meals, you can do that too as long as you maintain a caloric deficit. What's important is that you find a sustainable approach that helps you stay consistent over time. This flexibility allows you to consider different eating patterns, such as intermittent fasting, which may help some people better control their calorie intake. In the next section, we'll discuss various flexible meal structures and how they can support your fat loss goals while fitting into your daily routine. Flexibility in meal timing and structure can be a game changer for fat loss. Rather than sticking rigidly to 3 meals a day, you have the option to design an eating pattern that aligns with your lifestyle, preferences, and energy needs. This flexibility is where concepts like intermittent fasting come into play, offering an alternative to the traditional approach. Intermittent fasting, IF, is a strategy where you cycle between periods of eating and fasting. Popular methods include the 16-8 approach, where you fast for 16 hours and eat within an 8-hour window, and the 5-2 method, where you eat normally for 5 days and restrict calories on 2 non-consecutive days. Studies suggest that IF can be as effective as other calorie-controlled diets for fat loss, largely because it helps some people manage their total caloric intake more easily. Beyond IF, other flexible meal structures can work just as well. For example, some people prefer eating 2 larger meals, while others like smaller, more frequent meals. The key is finding what helps you maintain a caloric deficit without feeling overly restricted or deprived. In the next section, we'll explore how individual preferences, lifestyle, and even cultural factors play a role in determining the best meal structure for you, emphasizing that there's no one-size-fits-all solution for fat loss. When it comes to meal frequency, individual preferences and lifestyle factors play a crucial role. No 2 people have the same daily routine, work schedule, or social commitments, which means that a flexible approach to meal timing is essential. Some individuals find it easier to manage a busy workday by eating larger meals with longer gaps between them, while others might prefer smaller, more frequent meals to keep their energy levels steady throughout the day. Your choice of meal structure should also consider your activity levels and exercise routine. Athletes or those with physically demanding jobs might need more frequent meals for sustained energy, while others might thrive on intermittent fasting. The beauty of flexible eating patterns is that they can adapt to your specific needs and preferences. Ultimately, the best meal frequency is the one that helps you achieve your fat loss goals while fitting seamlessly into your lifestyle. In the next section, we'll discuss the importance of food quality and nutrient density and how they contribute to fat loss regardless of meal frequency. When considering meal frequency for fat loss, it's important to focus on the quality of food and its nutrient density. Regardless of whether you eat 2 or 6 meals a day, what you put on your plate makes a significant impact on your results. Nutrient-dense foods provide a high amount of vitamins, minerals, and other beneficial compounds relative to their calorie content, supporting overall health while aiding in fat loss. Choosing whole foods like fruits, vegetables, lean proteins, whole grains, and healthy fats can help you stay full and satisfied without consuming excess calories. These foods are naturally lower in calorie density compared to highly processed items, which often contain added sugars, unhealthy fats, and empty calories. Eating nutrient-dense foods also helps maintain muscle mass, which is crucial for sustaining a healthy metabolism and supporting long-term fat loss. While the frequency of your meals may vary, aiming for balanced meals with a mix of macronutrients, proteins, carbohydrates, and fats ensures that you get the energy and nutrients your body needs. This approach promotes satiety and reduces the likelihood of overeating, regardless of your meal structure. By focusing on quality and balance, you can create a flexible eating plan that meets your caloric goals while supporting your fat loss journey. In the next section, we'll discuss potential pitfalls associated with rigid meal structures and why flexibility is key to avoiding disordered eating patterns. Rigid meal structures can lead to potential pitfalls, particularly when they fail to account for individual hunger cues and personal preferences. A strict regimen that demands 3 meals a day or prescribes eating at specific times can create unnecessary stress and pressure, potentially leading to disordered eating patterns. This rigidity may cause some people to ignore their natural feelings of hunger or fullness, ultimately resulting in binge eating or food guilt. When people adhere too strictly to a schedule, they might be tempted to skip meals, which can lead to intense hunger and subsequent overeating. Alternatively, forcing yourself to eat when you're not hungry can cause discomfort and disrupt your body's natural signals. By adopting a more flexible approach, you can avoid these pitfalls and allow room for adaptation. Listening to your body's cues, adjusting meal timing as needed, and finding a pattern that works for you promotes a healthier relationship with food. In the next section, we'll summarize the key points discussed in this article and reinforce the idea that there's no one-size-fits-all solution for fat loss. In conclusion, the idea that 3 meals a day is essential for fat loss is a myth. The key to losing fat is achieving a caloric deficit, which can be done with a variety of meal structures. Whether you prefer intermittent fasting, multiple small meals, or the traditional 3-meal pattern, what's most important is that your approach is sustainable and suits your lifestyle. The best way to reach your fat loss goals is by focusing on total caloric intake, nutrient-dense foods, and flexibility. I encourage you to experiment with different meal patterns to find what works best for you. Embrace flexibility, listen to your body, and maintain a balanced diet for successful fat loss. If you found this article helpful, share it with others seeking a flexible approach to fat loss.